Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Like and subscribe.
Welcome to the Sit, Walk, Work podcast, a show about paying attention. My name is Dominic and I'm your host, and today is a guided meditation. And what you can expect is that the practice will open up with a brief recap, followed by the actual practice itself. If you find today's episode valuable, please share with your friends and family, and feel free to leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. The show will begin after the following chimes. I'm going to give you a brief recap of kind of where we went on the journey. And then, of course, if there's any questions or comments, I'll open the floor to you for that. But as I alluded to, today's theme was around this idea of how do we cultivate a bit of abundance. And so I wanted to see the practice through that lens. We started with just the breath and kind of feeling and receiving the breath. And then we kind of played with the idea of using the breath as an expansion tool to help physically feel the properties of the breath and the way that we can kind of overlap themes with our breathing to make a more cohesive experience. And so we did the breath a little bit, and then we kind of got into the body. And as we scan the body from head to toe, really I wanted your attention around the idea that there's a bunch of abundance happening inside of you. Millions of things in every moment from every part of your body going on. And if we're lucky, going right, so that things are well and okay for us to have this experience. And it's easy to forget how much it takes to run the human system. And so the body scan kind of pointed us in that direction. And then as we moved from the body, I wanted us to tie into the relationship between the way we think and what we feel, and to remind us that those two they are neck and neck. They're tied together, right? And so how you think generates a feeling sensation. And so you can feel something and notice your thinking patterns, or you can notice your thinking patterns and then feel how they're showing up. And so we explored both of those from the view of scarcity and abundance, and how each one of those feels a little different. And then we kind of got into the bit of the reminder that because the thoughts have such a powerful impact to the body, we have to plant the proper seeds, put the right things in the garden to make sure we get what we want. Or we need to maybe till it a little bit, get the weeds out, help give us some space for new things to grow. And so we played with that metaphor a little bit. And I closed out practice by giving you space to let everything kind of flow in, flow out, just be still and with yourself for a few minutes as we kind of brought our 30 minutes-ish practice to a close. And so again, just really want you to let yourself be still as possible to kind of mitigate some of the movement you've experienced throughout the day, and to kind of give yourself an anchor to allow your attention to focus and notice what's happening within the body, the mind, and the breath, which are kind of the tools we'll use today. And then the hands, find a nice place by your side or in your lap. And finally, closing your eyes and bringing your attention inwards. And that's kind of what I like to think of as the signal to my practice to say, okay, now's my time to spend some time with myself and to learn and explore with a bit of curiosity and openness how things are showing up for me today. Specifically with the practice, one of the things that I'm going to be targeting towards is this idea of how we cultivate and create a bit of abundance in our practice. Specifically around the idea that when we shift the thought patterns we have, we can influence the experience of what we are having in the moment. And so that's kind of what we're going to explore as far as a theme is concerned for today. With eyes closed and you fully present here, consider for just a moment what brought you here today. What kind of motivated you to be sitting on the cushion in this moment? Remembering that whatever your motivations for being here, you're exactly where you need to be. Learning that when we focus to work to change how we think, it begins to change how we feel and what is actually happening within the practice. Allowing your attention to begin to notice the breath, taking a couple conscious breaths here, maybe two to three of them, inhaling and exhaling, not changing, just kind of noticing how the breath feels in the practice today. Allowing our attention to begin to work with the breath now from this very specific place of just feeling the breath move in and the breath move out. I want you to imagine with your next inhale that you're just breathing in space, taking up additional capacity in your lungs, your rib cage, your torso. And on the exhale, imagine that you're breathing out any sense of limitation or constraints. The inhale is an expansion, the exhale is a release. Breathing in spaciousness, exhaling tightness. Breathing in possibility and exhaling restrictions. This is a critical part of our practice that we learn that we can receive what's there, but we can also shift the way we use our attention. In this case, moving from just a regular in and out breath to intentionally expanding as a way of shifting our internal landscape. And this is part of the theme of this idea of abundance, that it's not that you get or need more, but it's working with what you have and the space that's available to you now. Allowing the breath to kind of come back to its own natural rhythm and feeling the spaciousness that you have within you. here in our practice, we're never really alone whenever our attention is focused on one thing. While you might be noticing the breath, you're feeling the body here too. The thoughts are also playing a role in what's happening in this moment. And so we'll begin now to let our attention scan the body to notice the same theme and idea in the physical space of the body, looking for what's available, what's working, what's already displaying those qualities of abundance. So bring your attention to the top, to the crown or the top of the head, and allow yourself to notice any sensations that might be present right now. From warmth to tingling to just the sense of aliveness that can be here. Welcoming it with a bit of appreciation. A reminder that each sensation is generated by an abundance of nerve endings firing and changing and shifting right here in this changing moment to moment experience. As you begin to scan down and notice sensations in the face, the muscles around your eyes, perhaps softening those a bit, noticing the jaw, releasing any tension you might feel there, your lips naturally resting together, kind of receiving the face and the body as it is in this moment. Allowing the attention to shift and scan into the neck and shoulders, noticing if or seeing if you can sense any mobility, any sense of openness here in the shoulders and in the neck. You may still notice that it's tight in this area, but that's okay too if that is where you are today. Moving from the shoulders into the arms, you begin to sense and feel the natural weight of your arms. You can feel the circulation within them, this sense of these micro movements taking place in the body. Your hands resting, taking a break from their capacity to create and to connect. All of this experience that you're witnessing is a bit of embodied abundance that's happening, that's thriving right here on the surface of everything. letting your attention start to notice your torso, where you feel the rhythm here of your body, of your heartbeat, of your breath, naturally performing its beautiful dance. Letting your attention drop into the legs, where you can feel the weight of the legs, their fullness and their strength and the capacity that they've provided to move you throughout the day up until this point. If your feet are connected to the floor, you're connected to the abundance of the earth. And you're kind of held here in this space where you can sense and feel the entire body and its availability to provide a space and place for you, for us to move through this thing we call life. And as you're kind of experiencing just the body here as sensation, know that whatever's happening in this moment is just for the moment, that under the watchful eye of your attention, you can see it shifting and changing from moment to moment. And there's a deep relationship to how the thoughts show up and we apply them to the situations in front of us. That this idea of abundance or scarcity often starts in the way and the patterns that we are thinking. So let's explore this a bit by taking a moment to recall a time or situation in your life where you felt like there wasn't enough time, money, love, opportunities. And the goal here isn't to get lost in the story of it, but more to kind of just notice as you even begin to allow a thought like that to appear. Well, what effect does that have to the sensations and the breath within the body? And when we begin to hold on to these type of thoughts, they start to generate sensations and feelings in our body, contraction, tension, heaviness. And in understanding this relationship between thoughts and sensations, we can begin to notice things more when we're in tune to what the body is kind of providing us. We can understand that those relationships work both ways. And because of that, we can see that just like the breath changes with each inhale and each exhale, so too does the sensations change as the thoughts change. And as your attention shifts to something else and the thought subsides, so too does any sense of discomfort found with focusing on a particular thought. And in that same way, we can also recall a recent moment that we felt deeply grateful when we had a spontaneous appreciation for something or someone in our lives. It doesn't matter how big or small the gesture or the thing was, other than the fact that it resonated with you. So allow that thought to enter the mind and feel that as it moves its way through. You may notice that the quality of what you're feeling when you're thinking a different thought pattern also changes. That softness might appear, expansion might arise. Same body, same external circumstances, but the patterns of thought are different experiences. A reminder that this idea of abundance and scarcity, while there are external factors, they're not primarily that. They also are impacted by the way that we think about things. And because of that, we can recognize them or shift them when needed. A reminder that our mind is often like a garden, and every thought that we think is like dropping a seed into the soil. And to be good gardeners of our mind, we have to be careful with what we're planting. to allow for ourselves to choose thoughts, choose to receive and accept thoughts that are maybe more supportive and more congruent and more helpful to what we're trying to grow. Allowing the attention to open up a bit wider, to release the focus on the thoughts and simply allow yourself to be here with the moment as it unfolds, whether that's feeling it as sensations or a certain sound from the background, or just observing your breath. Let your attention be free to move through the changing experience of your moment to moment. Allowing the moment to flow through in the way that a river never worries about enough water. It simply flows with whatever water is available. We too can learn from that metaphor to allow things to, or allow our abundance to flow in our lives, to not create it by force or worry, but being open to receive it and paying attention to notice it when it shows up. Taking some time to begin to maybe wiggle the fingers, start to open and close the hands, maybe gently move the feet. Allow a sense of your physical body to begin to activate and animate. Taking a breath or two in before you blink the eyes open, and allow today's practice to come to a close, taking in whatever might have arose in the work you did today.
That's the beauty of it.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I invite you to check out my Substack, where we are building a community of like-minded individuals to discuss all topics related to the idea of paying attention. I hope to see you there. But until then, with metta may you be well.
Like and subscribe.